All right, big picture savings plan, take one. Ralph, if you're okay this right here, we'll get your new Sorrento ready for delivery.
Yeah, Steve, I like the Sorrento. I just can't do the payment $790.
Okay, I understand. A lot of people say that. In fact, about everybody wants a lower payment, so that's not a problem. Other than the payment, though, everything else is fine. Nothing else stops you from taking the Sorrento home today, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You know, Ralph, most people don't think about an automobile as anything other than a depreciating asset. However, it can also be a savings vehicle. For example, have you ever heard a financial advisor on the radio, on TV, or maybe even your own, tell you that if you're going to save money effectively, you need to pay yourself first? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, in effect, that is what you're doing with this payment. Let me explain, all right? I'm going to use the mid-range number there, 800. 860 months sounds like all the money in the world, I understand. However, when you break it down and see what you're really getting for it, I think you're going to be just a little bit pleasantly surprised. Now, the MSRP of that Sorrento is $40,000. Now, there are a number of entities out there, Edmunds.com, KBB, the American Leasing Guide. All of them provide predictions on what a vehicle will be worth, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 years down the road. Most Kias, according to ALG, Edmunds, and KBB, are going to be worth about 42% of what the MSRP was at the end of a, in your case, 5-year term. Now, Ralph, it can be worth more if you take great care of the car, have it serviced in a timely manner, keep all your service records. In fact, we'll do that for you here if you have your vehicle serviced here. Keep it polished, keep it shined. It can be worth more than 42%. On the other hand, if you run into everybody in Cartersville and you never clean it up, it's going to be worth less. So you've got some control over that. But in this particular case, grab that calculator if you will, take 40,000 and multiply it times 42%.
$1,680.
All right. What that means is after you make that last $800 payment, you're going to get something back in the mail from the bank, and it's going to look like this. It's going to be a title to your car. It's going to have only your name on it, and down here where they have room for liens, there's going to be nothing because you own it. Okay? Using the example we just talked about, this is a piece of paper that will be worth $16,800. Now, what can you do with that piece of paper? Well, it's just like a share of stock. You can borrow against it, you can sell it and take the money, or you can trade it. Okay? So if that's the case, divide $16,800 by the term, 60 months.
280.
So this is the way the cash is going to flow. You're going to write an $800 check. $520 of that is going to go to the bank or Kia Finance. $280 of that is going to go towards your savings account, which is in the form of a free and clear title, which means that your net payment is literally $520. Now, you'll write the check for $800, but it's a whole lot easier to write a check for $800 if you know that $280 of it is coming back to you. Now, to take it one step further, divide 520 by 30. That means for the first 5 years, you pay $17.33 to drive your Sorrento. Now, how does that compare to renting a fully loaded Sorrento? Well, if you went down to Hertz, Avis, National, or any of the other rental cars at Hartsfield and said, I'd like to rent a fully loaded Sorrento for a day, what do you think they charge you?
$30.
They charge you closer to $80, okay? For $30, you get a Chevy Cruze with roll-up windows, all right? Now, as an added bonus, that $16,800 will return an additional, multiply $16,800 times 7%.
$1,176.
It'll return an additional $1,176 to you in the form of a tax credit should you trade it in on another vehicle 5 years from now. And I use 7% because that's what the state tax will be. Divide 1176 by 30 and you'll get the final bonus.
$39.20.
That means of your payment, an additional $39.20 will be flowing back to you for a total of $309.20 of every car payment you make is coming back to you. So looking at the payment in that light, I think it certainly makes it a whole lot easier to say yes to this, doesn't it? Does that all make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Sure does.
It's the truth. But what percentage of the customers look at their payment like that? None.
None.
Zero. That's why we've got...
Now, what do they... Because I've used this a number of times already. I've just seen it. Now, what if they say, that's all fine and good, I love it, but I'm looking at the money I'm spending now.
Sure.
You know, where do you go from there?
We shall go from there. How about that?